What's up, YouTube? This is Victor on the Let Me Explain show, and today I would like to answer some questions that have been coming through concerning two products that I've been reviewing over the last few months, actually close to a year plus. And this is Irish seamoss and also Eyebright. I did a video on Eyebright when I had an eye infection, and people have since asked me quite a lot of questions pertaining to that. So let's start off with Irish seamoss. Now, one of the questions I got was how long and what effect am I expecting? I'm not getting the results others are getting. Am I doing something wrong? Well, I'll put it this way. Firstly, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a herbalist or anything like that. So please do not quote me on medical terms. I'm simply giving my opinion on my experience with it. And so that being said, with Irish seamoss, I noticed that over a period of time, I became more sensitive to food, especially meat products, and I just could not take in a meat product and not feel the effects in the next morning. And by the effects the next morning, I mean that I really felt agitated. I felt a lot of tension, a lot of stress. It was really weird. And at first I thought, well, it must simply be because, maybe I'm stressed out. Maybe it's just me. But after a couple of times of this happening, I don't eat meat that regularly, maybe once or twice a month or something like that. Then I began to notice a pattern that each time I eat a meat product, in the morning I feel a certain way. That's unusual, unbecoming of me, in other words. And so this happened as I continuously took Irish sea moss alongside other herbs, and so I guess the effect was that the more herbs I took and the less of processed food. Well, I don't even eat processed food, but even if I had sushi, I would feel the effects. If I had tuna the other day and I really reacted to it, and this usually didn't happen when I wasn't taking herbs and was on a meat-based diet. So my results came in slowly. It was a continuum. It wasn't like instant, like, okay, now I feel a certain way and I'm reacting to food a certain way. So it was over a long period of time. But once again, I would like to specify that these are my personal individual results, and they may vary drastically from yours, as I responded to one person, because I don't know what environment you're operating in. I don't know what your stress levels are. I don't know what your body makeup is. That's your biochemical makeup. And even if I knew, I wouldn't be able to tell you what the results you'd get are. So that being said, it's really, for me, the herbal journey has been a journey of self-discovery. What works for me, what doesn't work for me, and how I react to certain things, and whether the reaction is in my favor or not. So I would say food is a very sensitive part of our being, because I think we've all heard the saying, you are what you eat. And that is very true. That is very true. When I cut down on sugar, I must admit I'm still addicted to sugar in my coffee. I take a lot of sugar in my coffee and I drink a lot of coffee, which is really a stressor for me because I crave for it, which is something I don't like to have to happen, because I don't want to be a prisoner to that. But nonetheless, you are what you eat, and the food that you eat gives you the energy throughout the day. And because most of our food is laden with foreign elements, like how it's grown and what's fed into the plants and so on, it doesn't go augur well with our makeup and the way we are made to process food. So it's good to watch what you eat and know the source. I don't mean know the farm it came from. I mean, if you shop at a particular place and you find that the food there agrees with your system, then that's your source. They probably have a good source where they get their food from. So in conclusion, I would say when it comes to Irish sea moss and all these other herbs, we react differently to them. You have your own blueprint. Your own makeup, and through that will determine how you react, how long it takes, and your journey is particular to you. So I'd say take your time with it, but pay attention to how you feel when you eat certain foods, or generally when you eat food. And this is my routine. I've been doing this for about 3-4 months now, and my routine is to take 4 glasses of water. So I'm talking about a liter of water in the morning before I even have my coffee or breakfast. And breakfast usually is an avocado or a banana, some type of fruit. I don't do bread, toast, eggs for breakfast and stuff like that. But I'm a stickler for edamame or soya beans. I know some people might argue against that, but when I do eat something, I've got a clear stomach and I can tell how I feel from that food. So I would encourage you to do the same. Try to start off with a clean palate and see how you feel. For me, it's about 15-20 minutes in, I can feel the effects of the food I've taken in kick in. So I recommend you do the same thing, and keep on the journey. Find what fires you up. And the beauty of it is that when you feel alive, when your body feels alive and it's got what it needs, it's an amazing feeling. And like they said in the Matrix, no one can be told what the Matrix is. You have to find that out for yourself. And now on to Eyebright. Once again, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a herbalist, I'm not any kind of medical practitioner. This is from my personal experience, and it came through my research for something to help my eyes after I got an infection, and the chemicals just weren't working. It kept coming back, and that was conjunctivitis. So I looked stuff up, came across Dr. Sebi, and he recommended Eyebright. And Eyebright has been used for thousands of years. It's an old herb, and its name is actually derived from its use. It brightens the eyes, Eyebright. So I tried that, and I made a tea out of it, then strained it with cheesecloth, then I applied drops to my eyes, and lo and behold, within 3-4 days my eyes cleared up, and I carried it on for another 3 days just to make sure it's clean. And I haven't had an eye infection in a long time since I did that. So once a month I might just make eye drops and just put them in my eyes just to make sure my eyes are nice and healthy. So somebody asked me how they should administer Eyebright. I think that's a question you'd ask your doctor, or a herbalist, somebody who's trained in the field, to give you a more rounded answer to that, because they're more experienced in administering it rather than using it. Rather than I, as an individual, giving you advice on that. I wouldn't advise you take my word for it. I would advise that you take my word as a nudge to go and do further research, and also look into what works for you by consulting your doctor, who probably knows you best, and then make your own decision from there. And like I said, how I take it is by making a tea, straining it with cheesecloth, and I only make enough for 2 to 3 days because I don't want it to get contaminated. And if you look on YouTube, there are several people who've posted about how to apply it to your eyes with an eye wash cup, which you can get from most pharmacies. So I hope that answers your questions. Please keep them coming. If you've got any questions, comments about it, I'm just sharing my experience, but my journey has been absolutely fantastic. And the last thing I'll mention is that I did a video on weight loss using Irish sea moss, and I'd like to mention in this video that how that would work is that Irish sea moss really balloons. It takes in a lot of water, so it swells up. It, and if you watch my video, which I'll link below, you will see that it gets really thick and concentrated when you add water to it, and that in turn fills you up. And the beauty of Irish sea moss filling you up is that it's loaded with the minerals and stuff the body needs. You can actually do your research on that to see the benefits of Irish sea moss, and you'll be amazed at what properties it has. So not only is it nutritious, it's also highly filling, so you don't feel hungry at the end of the day. You've taken in something that fills you up and is also good for you. So that's why I did that video. Once again, don't take my word for it. Don't take anybody's word for it. Take it as a nudge and do your research. Speak to your doctor, speak to a dietitian, see what they say, then come to your own conclusion after you've done your research. And I hope your journey goes well. And this is Victor on the Let Me Explain show. Thanks for watching.